Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and man, this Helldivers 2 news has become one of the biggest gaming stories of the year. The colossal shift in perception of that game, it just goes to show that gaming, everything can change in the drop of a dime, and you make one incorrect move and you make one egregious move like Helldivers 2 did with the PSN account requirement, and things go awry very, very quickly. We'll talk more about Helldivers 2 as more of the news comes out, and we're certainly going to be uploading a lot of videos talking about it and all of the updates with that, but you know, I do cover a lot of other games on this channel, and one game that I am very much looking forward to, a lot of people are looking forward to it. It's been one of those games that people have wanted on PC going back to 2020, and I did see a little bit of pushback when I recently talked about the game's system requirements in the comments section. A lot of people asking, well, is Ghost of Tsushima going to require a PSN login? What is going to be the PSN requirement to Ghost of Tsushima? And the game is about to drop on PC, and they haven't really been that clear as far as what the PSN requirement is going to be. Now, for most of you guys, when you look at Ghost of Tsushima, you're looking at it from a single-player lens. Yes, Ghost of Tsushima, the reason you're buying the game, at least for the most part, is probably for the single-player campaign. When the game came out, it was single-player only, and it was very much worth that $60 in my opinion. However, since its release, a little while after it, there was a multiplayer component baked into it as well called Ghost of Tsushima Legends. It's a pretty solid multiplayer component. Yeah, I believe PSN was selling it standalone as well. But that will be available on PC as well right out the gate. It'll also feature cross-platform play, and it's interesting because is PSN going to be required with that as well? And there's a problem tied to PSN being required. Well, let's give you guys what Sucker Punch said directly. In a response to a since-hidden Twitter comment that presumably referenced the controversy as noted on PC Gamer, Sucker Punch wrote, "Just so you are aware, a PSN account is required for Legends Online multiplayer mode and to use the PlayStation overlay. If you're not familiar with it, the PlayStation overlay is essentially something that is being implemented. You'll be able to, you know, track your PlayStation progress, look at how your trophy progress is, because yeah, the game is going to have trophies linked to your PSN account as well. They also note it is not required to play the single-player game. So this is a very interesting layer to Ghost of Tsushima, given that I imagine that this game is going to be sold in all of those regions where PSN isn't available in. So if you are buying it from one of those regions, I don't know what you're paying. What I heard is there's no regional pricing for this game. You are paying for less content than every other region because the Legends component, think of it what you want. Maybe it's not the reason you buy the game, but it is a nice component of the game that is not available to you. For those of you in those regions that are affected by Helldivers 2 as well, or you just don't have PlayStation Network in your region, you are only getting part of the game. Let's be real, that's what it is. You are getting the single player component, which, guys, let me reiterate, I think Ghost of Tsushima is absolutely worth the $60 for just the single player component. You're also getting the Iki Island expansion, and you know, the game is tremendous. I absolutely do recommend it even at that price point and without the Legends component. But if you're buying it stateside, if you're buying it in those regions where PSN is available, you are literally getting more content. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you are buying it in a different region where PSN is not available, you are not getting Ghost of Tsushima Legends. That's not going to be playable for you, so keep that in mind. And I do believe this is going to be the case going forward with PlayStation titles. Multiplayer PlayStation titles will require you to connect to PlayStation Network. Why that is so relevant? Yes, PlayStation is very sparse in terms of having multiplayer games. They really don't have a lot, and I feel like that's always been one of the shortcomings of PlayStation, at least in recent memory. Go back to the late 2000s, early 2010s, you had, you know, Killzone 2 I always go back to, and you drop me a Killzone 2 and I'll be linking my PSN account all day for that one, but I don't know if we're gonna get that. But Sony is trying to get more into the live service game. They've got games like Concord, they've got games like Fair Game, and yeah, I think those games could potentially be dead on arrival, but you're making it even harder for those games to pop off as new IPs. It's one thing when Helldivers 2 is already established, and by the way, Helldivers 2 didn't require PSN, but now, going forward, you're gonna have a microscope on you. You've already upset the PC audience that now, when you have a game like a Concord, or you have a game like a Fair Game coming out, if I'm the developers of Concord and Fair Game, oh, I am watching this story very, very closely, because now Sony kind of effed you over a little bit, because now you're gonna be not as under fire as Helldivers 2, because the thing with Helldivers 2 is the bait and switch element to it. Yes, the bait and switch element was very, very bad, and that falls on Arrowhead as well, not being transparent. And it was noted they've known that the game was going to require PSN for a while, and how they outlined it in the terms of service is a little bit misleading, to say the least, and it's not something everybody is going to be aware of, and they should have done a better job of making people aware of. That's not going to be the case with Concord and Fair Game, because that's going to be PSN required right out the gate, but I do think that is going to hinder the ceiling of those games. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. That will absolutely hinder the ceiling of the game. And you might think that, hey, ultimately, people are going to stop caring about the PSN thing. That may be true, but as far as vitriol being attached to a game, I don't remember the last time where people pushed back on something this hard for a game that was received so well. And I'll talk about it more in a different video, but I certainly do feel bad for Arrowhead. And they effed up, and the CEO said as much, that they should have been more transparent about this information, but the roller coaster of emotions that they have to go through from, at one point, your game is popping off, you're going through hell to get the game working, you know, server issues, so on and so forth, and then you're on Cloud 9, you're doing good content, people are receiving the game really well, and look at how the perception just changed of this game overnight. And you know, it's probably it is more of a PlayStation decision than anything, but at the end of the day, you know, it comes down to the game itself. Most people are not going to care who's involved in terms of why a game is requiring you to do something. Yeah, I'm sure most people can understand that it's PlayStation, but ultimately their gaming experience is getting altered. And again, in this situation, it's even more egregious because the game was literally being sold in other regions. So with games like Concord, with games like Fair Game, those games don't even have a chance to pop off in those regions where Helldivers was sold at. So that is something to certainly consider. And what is so insane to me is, how was there no foresight to this? Like, didn't somebody realize, hey, we're selling the game in an area where, you know, PlayStation Network isn't offered, but by a certain date, PlayStation Network is going to be required for this game? Isn't that gonna hinder the accessibility of the game and really destroy the accessibility of the game for you know, a corporation like PlayStation, who handled the publishing? Remember, PlayStation published Helldivers 2, so they were handling selling the game. How did this even happen? How is there such little foresight in making sure that this wouldn't be an issue? And obviously, refunds have to be given out for people that are in those various regions that are affected, unless they do find a fix or something of that sort. I don't believe refunds are given out just willy-nilly, because one of my boys did try to refund the game, just, you know, somebody that's played the game for an obscene amount of hours just wanting a refund. Yeah, he got denied immediately, so it is what it is. It seems like a case-by-case basis. I know I'm a little all over the place. So as far as Ghost of Tsushima goes, again, guys, single player, you'll be able to play it without a PSN login requirement. Let us pray that it never gets to a point where single player games are going to require PSN account connection, but at some point, I could very well see Sony go that route as well. You know, Sony is one of those publishers, and PlayStation was one of those guys that I love the games they put out, but they're always not consumer first. Like, let's just be completely honest, they are not always consumer first, and I don't expect them to be consumer first. That's just not how corporations go. That's not how this game is played from their lens, and I could see that happening. Hopefully, the pushback that Helldivers 2 has gotten leads them to at least do some sort of course correction. That's all we can hope for, and ultimately, if PSN isn't required for their other live service games, that's only gonna lead to those games having a better success rate. I'm not saying Concord and Fair Game are gonna pop off, but you're already, you know, starting those games off with an L requiring PSN account connection. But I get it. Other games have done fine requiring account connection. Battle.net, Origin, I get it. You guys can bring that up. People are upset, and people don't like that either, but I digress. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.